to bed.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the September edition of SKYLLA. We're gonna start off today with a qualifier, with the first qualifier. But before all of that, we're gonna interview Mayra, IpSa, Perez, and well, she's here with me, and we're gonna talk about her recent career, or about her whole career, as she's in the scene for a long time. Also a bit about her future and her casting, her thoughts about the female scene, and also especially about SKYLLA. And yeah, first of all, hello IpSa, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just a little bit tired.
Well, I guess we're all a bit tired this weekend. We need to we need to get out enough sleep here. But yeah, talking about you, some might not know all about you. I mean, to be honest, I also don't know all about you, as you're in the scene for a really, really long time already. And maybe you can tell us about how your career went, and why you even started with CS, and how you became professional in CS 1.6 and then CSGO.
All right. I hope I don't bore you guys out, and for me, I have gotten this question so many times, but basically I started playing, I think it was December 2003. I got CS as a present from my boyfriend then. And that was a very long time ago. And the reason why I got it was because, well, basically in school, everybody was talking about this game. And I just felt like I wanted to be a part of understanding what they were discussing. And I was like, well, let's go for it. And also I tried it at my boyfriend's place then. And ever since I got stuck to it, and I just loved it. And around like 2 years later in 2005, I remember watching, I went to DreamHack 2005, and Eyeballers were there. They were a female team, and I remember I was so impressed, like, what, 5 girls in a team playing together, and there were a bunch of people gathering around them, and I was like so impressed. I was like, wow, you can actually play in a team in this game, you can become so good. I also want to do that. And then since that period, I set up kind of like a future plan for myself, where I decided that I would join any team, any female team, and just try to fight my way to the top. And well, ever since it basically I got stuck to it. Just, I started competing, and I think in 2007 I went to my first like official to another country to compete in CS, with other female teams, and it was ESWC. Yeah, my first ESWC, and it was like amazing.
Yeah, and if you go into such a career, it's hard to get money out of it. It's kind of like a job and a hobby at the same time, but you need to sacrifice some for it, as especially at the start, you can't get a lot of money out of it, but you need to play, you need to get
it is
better.
very time consuming.
Yeah, exactly. And what sacrifice did you have to make in your life to achieve those goals you had in your mind?
Well, I actually had to think about this question a little bit, because I was like, what? But then in the end, I actually think it's a little bit like a plus minus. I would say my social life, and I think that everybody who puts a lot of time in this game, well, if you want to reach the top, it takes a lot of time. You basically have to practice, and if you have school or work or whatever, you have to kind of some days put aside your friends. Even if you're making friends online, your social life takes kind of a punch, depending on how much time you want to spend on this game. So I would say kind of like that, because when it came to school, I still had my school goals, and I had a mom that was very pushy when it came to school, so I was like, can't disappoint her. So in that way, I would just say social life for me,
Yeah, well, talking about that, do you, like, just a quick question about that, do you like some things about it that you think like, I shouldn't have done it like that, or are you completely proud about what you have achieved?
No, I'm proud of what I've achieved. I mean, at one point I got a little, it sounds really ridiculous to some people, but you kind of got tired of it, about it. Because the expectations, you know, when you were top 1, you had to, if it didn't go as you wanted, then you got so disappointed, more disappointed than when you would actually do good, because everybody knows how it feels to lose. That loss, that feeling of loss is bigger than, you know, when you win, you're like, yeah, we won. And then, of course, you're always happy about it, but it's that little loss that makes you, yeah, but no, I don't think I would regret anything. It went how it went, and I'm not gonna, you know, overthink things. I'm happy it happened, and I got a lot out of it.
That sounds good. And talking about achievements, what is your favorite achievement as a player, as a captain, and yeah, what was your best time in the period, best time period in your career?
My personal favorite achievement back in the days, I would always say winning ESWC Masters, but lately I think it's actually my casting, because I think I'm casting for Swedish television. We go live on television here in Sweden in a certain channel, and when I got this, and I'm still working for them, so it's been like, I think we're going to our 2nd year. Casting male CS in Swedish, it takes, you have to be, I mean, you are a caster, you know that sometimes the words can't come out as fast as you want, and then we have the other aspect of being a caster, but also being a spectator and watching these amazing players like Fnatic, Godsend, SK. It is amazing, and I'm so happy that I can be part of that scene, you know? So I would say, before I would always say ESWC Masters, but now I always say, I think it is casting for Swedish television, basically. And the best period in my career, it sounds a little bit cheeky, but I think it was when we were playing in Fnatic MSI. When was that? 2011, 12? It was so long time ago, I don't remember. But basically, from that, it was when we were traveling the most. It was a lot of female tournaments, and we were earning good money and winning, and it was, you know, they were really a good support for us back then. So I would say that's the best period in my CS career, basically.
Yeah, and talking about esports, you talked about the teams, Fnatic, Gods, and I mean also SK, for example. Esports is really, really growing, and you could see that also in CS:GO. But can you see the same in about the female CS:GOs, and can you also see a growth there? And also, how big is the female community in Sweden?
I would say that the female scene right now, the female players, the ones that are at top, are way better than when I used to play and we were at the top. Right now we have, well, basically one female team that is dominating, and that's Team Secret. And even if there are basically 2 or 3 other teams that can compete with them, they are still very dominant. So I think it is growing. The women in CS right now are earning more money than they used to back in the days. So in this way, it is growing, you know? Yeah. And I think female teams get more recognitions than they used to, and they get, I don't want to say like they get full support, but they still do get, you know, this a lot more than how it used to be. Now people are not surprised that there is a female scene. People are like, oh, there is a female scene, nice, yeah, I support this and this team, and people know the top female teams. So in this sense, it's compared to before, it is growing. And about the female community in Sweden, I wouldn't say I'm fully aware about it. I know a lot of female Swedish players, but I would say that the Swedish scene is a little bit splitted, but it exists, but it's not how I remember it, kind of, in my time. I sound so old, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and what is also, we talked about the growth, that more teams get the support from organizations. But is there also something in the, like, how the teams work, or like how it evolved compared to the 1.6 days?
Well, as I mentioned before, the women at the top are making more money than before. So yeah. This is really good for them, obviously.
Do you feel like they're also working way harder than in the past, or do you think that didn't change that much? And also talking about strats, for example. I mean, of course, 1.6 compared to CSGO, it evolved as a whole with strats, but like kind of team play, stratting, and everything.
I think that I'm sorry if I interrupted you, but I think that I just had my answer, so I had to set it out. I think that I do think that the female teams at the top are working a lot to be where they are, but we have a top 1 tier female team, and then mid, and then low. But between the lower teams after the top, I think it's more rare. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So well, so but I do think that compared to 1.6, I would say it's almost the same. The top players, they are putting a lot of time in this game, and then the mid-tier teams and low-tier teams are not spending as much time. And now of course, obviously, I'm not saying everybody in the mid-tier or low-tier are, like this and that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's compared to the top. There's a reason why they are at the top. And I would say it's the same in 1.6. But obviously, as I mentioned before, the female scene right now is way better than what it was before. The top-tier female teams.
What do you think? What does it need? I mean, those mid-tier teams, that there are some who could actually like come up, get onto this high level. Like, what do they need to do? How can you motivate them? And what do you think is the biggest fear of them to get on this tier? Like, what? Maybe also talking about sacrifice, for example, or something like that. What do you think do the female teams fear most?
I would say more support. But I think also that, as I said, work pays off. So the mid-tier teams and the low-tier teams need to put more effort. And obviously now I'm not taking account if you have a job, if you have this and that, I'm just saying, but like any other job, if you want to become good at it, you have to put a lot of hours into it. And it isn't just enough with doing it like, oh, let's play from 7 to 9 or whatever. It has to be out. So you have to basically live and breathe the game. I mean, if you look at Olofmeister, I think he has like between 6,000 hours and 8,000, if I don't remember wrong. And that's a lot compared to that what some of the female teams have. Some have around 2,000, even below that, 2,000, 4,000, I think. And even that is 2,000 hours already in comparison. You know what I mean, right? It's,
exactly. Yeah.
Work pays off. Low tier teams need to work harder, and also the top tier teams need to obviously support, just like we're saying that, well, basically what SKYLLA is doing. We get opportunity to play against mid tier 2 male teams, and in this way it will make female teams improve. We don't have this gap. I hope everybody's understanding what I'm saying now, so that I'm not being misinterpreted.
Yeah, I think so. Well, talking about SKYLLA, a quick question later, but talking about you yourself now, you left Macy recently, and what are your plans for the future? I mean, you're casting for the Swedish television, you just mentioned that earlier, and well, what are your plans? Do you still look for a team? Do you still work with the female team, maybe also casting, or maybe even coaching, for example, or do you fully focus on your casting? What are your plans for the future?
Well, me and Rima used to also play in Macy. We are making a team, or we're trying right now. Everybody's busy with the ESWC qualifier, so everybody has already, players that they specifically want to play with, so it's hard to find. But we are gonna play the qualifier, ESWC qualifier, and we're playing an ESL league or cup that's going on right now. So I am still playing, and as you know, I am still working for Swedish television, and I am open for casting because that's another passion of mine. So I've always been doing both casting and playing, at least for Swedish television. So I don't feel like I'm choosing. And right now I'm just taking things as they come, and we will see what happens.
Yeah, now, well, good luck with your team. And now talking about SKYLLA, what do you think about the goals we've set? Do you think it will help a lot of teams playing against those male teams you mentioned a bit earlier? And well, do you think it will like higher the competitiveness of the female scenes, especially against higher tier male teams?
Well, I think that what SKYLLA is doing right now is very good, as I said before, and as you also mentioned. Letting female teams play against tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams is a step for so we can basically take advantage of this as female players to improve. This will help us, and it will, if we do good, it will put a different light into the female scene. So I really enjoy what SKYLLA is doing. It's a very good concept, and I do think that this is kind of like a key to unlock competitiveness in the female scene for us, to break that barrier somehow, and be more respectful of well, I think it's really a great concept.
Talking about today's qualifier, I don't know if you looked over the teams, but if you did you have some favorites that you think that could get out of the qualifiers? The top 2 teams today gonna get out of it?
I was looking at it yesterday, and I must say it was really hard to pick, because I think that there are some new teams, there are mixed teams, and it's an online qualifier. Anything can happen, so it can the ball can roll everywhere. It's round and it rolls everywhere. So I don't want to say, I don't have a favorite, to be honest.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, that just means it's gonna be an exciting qualifier. And anyways, thanks for the interview. Maybe you can watch some of the games and enjoy seeing that. And good luck in your future with your career. Well, you already have a really exciting career, as we heard. But I mean, there's probably more to come. So good luck with that. And also, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. And we are right back with the first match of the SKYLLA qualifier number 1, and hope you're all gonna watch it. You enjoyed the interview with IpSa. This definitely a huge career. Maybe we can see some players who are gonna have a career like that as well in this qualifier or in SKYLLA. So there's definitely some talent out there, and we're gonna watch at it right now in the qualifier. We are back in a few minutes.